round 2 or 3, I don't know. Not feeling great today, but I wanted to get this video out because I had the time, and I'm waiting on somebody for an appointment. So you guys have all dealt with this likely, and this is just something that personally I can't understand why it's still an issue. On the other hand, I totally can, considering the time we're in, the lack of study and general knowledge that's out there. It's getting worse, by the way. Folks that want to be faithful without any knowledge are easily led around by their fear. And I don't mean this to be offensive, and I'm really sorry if it comes across as perhaps snarky, but we have become weak enough and weakened enough in our current state and situation regarding the entirety of the church and its devolved nature that we fall prey to a lot of gobbledygook really quick. We don't even take what sometimes even the English is extremely clear in from the Bible at its actual word, and it's leading many to some really false and unfortunate ideas about what we're dealing with here on earth. So the mark of the beast, it is pretty clear. Revelation 13, 16, and 17 seem to put the whole situation kind of out there for us all to see clearly. The Greek does illuminate some things a little bit more. I'll get into just a little bit of that, but I don't think we need much, considering it is pretty simple. Revelation 13, 16 through 17. This is from ichthus.com, my teacher's translations. Actually, it's contextualized, but you guys can read Revelation 13 and see this is very much in line with just about every translation that's out there, except for, of course, the heretical ones. 16, and he, the false prophet, compelled everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to allow his clergy, in this case, the ones who will likely be enacting this, his fake church, pseudo church, if you will, to place a mark on their right hand or their forehead, so that no one would be able to buy or sell except those with the mark, consisting of either the name of the first beast or the number of his name. So, is the shot even capable of being the mark? Well, the word for mark in this particular set of passages is charagma, charagma in the English transliteration. It is the base root for our word character. Some people pronounce it charagma or charagma, probably charagma, because it's the she, the X is the first letter. It literally means a marking on the skin. It literally means some sort of implementation of a symbol or set of symbols or picture via some physical method onto the forehead in this case, or the right hand. So you've got something that is a literal marking of the skin, right up there with a tattoo, if you will. It's called a mark, so it kind of leaves some vagaries in there, but it is required specifically so it can be seen easily. Somebody can just walk up and see you have either the mark with the name or the symbol, and it's on your forehead or it's on your hand. I actually have videos on these that go into the intricacies of all of this. I go over the language again, and I'll put those in the description here so you guys can see the nitty gritty of it, you know, because the numbering of his name, the meaning of the numberings and whatnot, it has some depths that aren't necessarily obvious on the surface of it. But when you see that, you know, for example, the perfect number 7, it's God's number, whereas 3 6s is, you know, it's like it's trying to be 7, but it never could be, and it's multiple attempts. So it's like all the ways in the world essentially to go to hell, instead of trust the true God and have the one and only way home, which is our Lord Christ. Is 3 6s going to be the mark? No. In fact, the gematria that this is alluding to, the Greek numeral system that lined up with the alphabet, is intentionally referred to, and specifically so because the number of his name is what's alluded to. So in other words, it's putting the number and the name kind of on the same level, as if you could easily see it in Greek or in numeric form, right? So those that understand this system will be able to take the Antichrist's actual name, whatever name he puts out there, whether it's his real name or whether it's his understood name as the head of this, the object of worship for this evil satanic church. And blessedly too, there's going to be a lot of other stuff that's going on worldwide that will clearly, in my opinion, to those of us that are paying attention, that have any understanding of the word, and again, the reason why I built this channel, we'll see the trumpet judgments. We'll see the wars between the Antichrist and the king of the south. We'll see the 7 rulers in Europe. We'll see the 3 rulers in the south that are going to betray the king of the south. We'll see, Babylon being taken over illegally. We'll see all of these things happen. So we won't, I don't think, if we're well learned, need to get so far as to figure out what his name is in the gematria. By the time the mark is actually released, it'll be clear, even if you don't know how to break it down in Greek numerical alphabet. And the symbol, on the other hand, it's a little bit of a different story. So and I'll go into the 3 6s thing now, because it kind of ties into that. We're being inundated with different symbolism of 3 6s, the Google symbol, CERN symbol. I can't think of any others, but I know there's at least 15 or 20, and I've heard them pointed out time and time again. And it used to freak me out personally. And I personally think also that because of the way that our English translations have proffered this idea of 3 6s, that we are being trained to expect 3 6s, which, I mean, I don't know if you guys understand how subversive and how tricky Satan actually is, but why would he go out of his way to make something so easy and so obvious that, unbelieving culture, look at all the movies that it's in, look at all the pop culture and nonsense, the 3 symbols, the 3 LFs on the Monster Energy drink are clearly 3 6s. Like, it is everywhere, and we're being inundated with it, and we're literally being essentially told by Satan to expect it, which is exactly why there's very, very little chance, if any, in my opinion, and likely from what I can read from the Bible, that there will actually be any number 6 involved in the mark of the beast. And that will partially be part of the ploy. But you have to understand too, unlike the shot, the COVID shot that some folks seem to think is the mark of the beast, there will be an overt requirement to reject the true Jesus Christ, God in flesh, Almighty, to receive it. In other words, it, just like with the incident with Adam and Eve, or Eve with the apple rather, just like the incident between the daughters of men and the sons of God in Genesis 6 when they made the Nephilim, the marriage. The word marriage is used there because it's a free will choice on the part of the women to hook up with these angels and genetically manipulate the egg into creating a super being that has a human spirit, but like the body of a giant. I don't know how to put it. There's always a free will element to Satan's attacks. And the reason is, I've alluded to this many times in many different videos, but the angels are being replaced, right? So if he doesn't get you to free will reject Jesus Christ before you somehow are killed off or are, deprived of life and eventually end up in heaven, he one more of his numbers is replaced. And he's watching what's happening in heaven, right? So he has every vested interest, not in just killing us off, but to change our minds, to make us anti-Christ, to make us unsaved like him, because his whole notion is if he can keep creating more and more unbelievers, that at some point it will utterly frustrate the plan of God to complete the family of God and mend it back to its perfect place that it was before Satan decided to destroy it. And in fact, he's not only going to replace the angels, but he's going to supersede it 100%. So there's going to be a double portion, just like the firstborn is supposed to get a double portion. Everything about the Old Testament is about Jesus Christ. It's so awesome. Anyhow, anything that does not involve utter financial loss, and I do understand, by the way, that some folks who were forced to get the shot were in a situation where they were essentially not allowed to do much, but not allowed to do much and not allowed to do anything worldwide scale, from a central point of power where all governments mean nothing compared to this super government. That is a big difference. Yes, there were some evil countries that essentially tried to rob its citizens of nearly every single right, but nearly every single right is not every single right. There is a big difference between what happened then and what is coming. And just like I alluded to earlier, there are many, many things that need to happen first, right? We need to see the trumpet judgments. We need to see the 144,000. We need to see Moses and Elijah. We need to see them killed and then raised after 3.5 days. You know, we have to see the Antichrist sit down in the temple. We have to see the abomination of desolation. We have to see the woman Israel flee into the desert. I mean, all of these things are going to happen. And then the great persecution begins with the mark being released. So we have to keep our eyes open. We have to stay spiritually attuned to what the Bible says in its completion. We can't just be looking after one or two little things. This is part of the reason, by the way, why I'm so anti once saved, always saved, and so anti pre-tribulational rapture. Both of these things foster such a laziness and such a, I don't need to worry about it, I'm saved, that they don't actually go through and learn this stuff. And they fall prey to it easily. And then they're left in a position of constant fear, almost strangling them to the point, well, think about it. If somebody thinks that by the shot they've already got the mark of the beast and the actual mark comes along, do you think they're going to have any issue just going ahead and getting the mark, even though they absolutely understand that Jesus Christ is God? The moment they get the mark, they're rejecting their eternal heritage and are choosing to go to hell. Again, another big slap in the face to the idea of once saved, always saved, no matter what. It's not no matter what. It matters on whether or not you choose to stay with him. And if you get the mark, you're not choosing to stay with him. So I hope that puts it to bed for some of you guys. I hope it makes it really crystal clear, simple. Just like all the prophecies surrounding Antichrist have to all fit into place, just like a perfect puzzle piece, the same exact requirement surrounds the mark of the beast. That being said, I think once it actually does come, it will be so simple that there won't be any denying it, especially for those of us that want to know. But again, from what you guys will see, there will be such a fervor worldwide, such a zeal for this thing, that it will be unmistakable. And we never saw anywhere near even 70-60% adherence, pretty much anywhere. So, and for those that did, a lot of people found themselves, like during the second round, regretting it. So there won't be multiple rounds. It'll just be one round, one and done. You get to have money and a life and freedom in this sinful earth before it gets destroyed, or you choose to be persecuted, and that's just it, pretty much in a nutshell. Comment down below, let me know what you think. I hope this came across reasonably. Again, a little bit fuzzy in the head today. All my kids are sick, but not terribly so, just enough that everybody feels kind of out of it. But anyway, like, share, subscribe. Please share this with somebody who you think is in great fear. They don't need to be. You know, even when the mark does come around, we'll know that we're just that much closer to seeing and knowing our Lord is going to rescue us. And even if we do die during this tribulation, what a wonderful reward. What a closeness to the Lord to be able to suffer like him. Nobody wishes for that, but I'm sure it's not the same for us. Just like Stephen in Acts, it won't be. We don't live or die the way the world lives or dies. So, have faith, chin up, keep going, keep trusting the Word. You got to ignore the nonsense, guys. We'll talk to you soon.